Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Breakdown Besties podcast. I'm Ananya.
I'm Akshay.
We are your Breakdown Besties. Together, we have 14 years of experience writing for platforms like Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video, with shows like Mismatched, Wedding.com, Ishq in the Air, Shark Tank, Rana Naidu, Grahan, and a host of others that have gotten stuck in development hell but will hopefully see the light of day one day. And we'll hopefully still get credited for them.
Of course.
You have very high hopes from this industry. Our goal with the Breakdown Besties podcast is to give you an authentic film school experience. Not that we really know what that entails because we didn't go to film school, but from everything we've heard and from our experience in the writers' rooms of several shows, we're going to do what we do, which is understand and look at the screenwriting of iconic Bollywood films, see what makes those scripts work, the tips, the tricks, and what makes them doesn't work, and how we can emulate these techniques in our own writing and how can we improve what doesn't work so that we can take the industry forward. And the movie we're breaking down today is a 2018 phenomenal thriller starring, written, and directed by all women. This is Raazi, and written by Bhavani Iyer and Meghna Gulzar. I think we should just jump right into what it's about by getting into the logline, right?
Yeah. And
Cool.
it's based on a book, Calling Sehmat by Harinder S. Sikka.
Yes. Your logline is the guiding light of your film. It is one sentence which contains 4 essential elements which allow you to see the forest for the trees. So when you're lost in the screenplay and you're really stuck in the weeds and you don't understand what are you even writing about, that's when your logline helps you out the most. Why does a logline work so well? Because of these 4 elements. The first is your flaw or your block, limitation, or wound. This is something within the character, a need, a necessity to change, one which they haven't confronted yet. And having this need within them, this limitation, or this weakness, is stopping them from B, the second element, goal. They have this goal in mind which they want to achieve, but they're just not able to achieve it so far because their flaw or limitation is stopping them from doing it. And this goal is what our character goes after in this film by overcoming their need. And how is this need overcome? With element number 3, the conflict. The conflict is an external challenge which you encounter on the road to achieving your goal, which challenges the inner need, the inner limitation of your character. When this character is forced to confront with this conflict, they overcome the weakness, the limitation within them, and they're able to move forward towards their goal. It is also your story engine. Without conflict challenging your character, you have no story, you have no film. And the final element are stakes. Stakes are what the characters loses should they not achieve their goal. It is not simply not achieving their goal. It is taking it one level lower. And that is our log line. So, should I get into what I have written as the log line for Raazi?
Yeah. Go for it.
I think it's fairly straightforward. We might agree on this.
Yeah. It took me some time to understand one element out of the 4, but we'll get into that after you read it.
Okay. So, when a patriotic college girl is sent to spy in Pakistan, she must extract sensitive information as covertly as possible, lest she lose her life.
Yeah. I've written the same thing. Yeah.
Same thing, right? Like
Yeah.
super simple.
Yeah.
So, what are the 4 elements? One is your limitation, which is patriotic college girl or college girl rather in this matter.
Yeah.
This is Alia Bhatt's character Sehmat. She is a young college girl. She's barely 20 years old. And the conflict is she's been sent to Pakistan to spy. So obviously a college girl has to spy. So that is automatically challenging her. So that is the conflict, right?
Yeah.
and she must extract sensitive information as covertly as possible. That is her
The
goal, because
goal.
that is the goal of all spies.
Yeah.
And then, if she doesn't, she loses her life.
The bit I was struggling with, what was her flaw? Like that took me
Mm.
a time to like figure that out, because I was like, she doesn't have any limitations as a spy. Like, but
Mm.
then it struck me that her patriotism is what like keeps her going more and more. And like it sort of like becomes her, like there is a little bit of this quality that Vatan ke aage kuch nahi. Like she
Hmm.
keeps
Hmm.
repeating that, which also comes into play in her personal relationships which she builds there. So that's why I actually went back to Kahani to
Hmm.
find out what the flaw was. In Kahani,
Hmm.
like Vidya Balan's flaw was that she was relentless, you know?
Hmm.
And that's what made me click this one's patriotism here, that the engine which keeps her going, uh,
Hmm.
in spite of all the conflict and the tension, which is that, oh, she is patriotic. She will keep
Hmm.
doing this no matter what.
I don't think patriotism is her flaw, though. It is being, because A, she doesn't have a flaw. She has a limitation here.
Huh.
Her
Yeah.
limitation is that she's a college girl.
Huh.
So there's that. But her patriotism, that comes more into play thematically.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's not a flaw at all. It's not that because she is patriotic, she's not able to achieve her goal. A flaw is something that stops
Huh.
you from
That's
achieving your
true.
goal.
That's true. Huh.
So,
Huh.
right?
Yeah.
So her limitation here is that she's a college girl. She
Hmm.
has to train to be a spy. She's a woman in a man's world.
Yeah.
She's gone into Pakistan at this time, which is 1971, married into a new house. She's
Yeah.
limited. She's restricted by her gender, by her roles, by the
But you
fact that
know,
she's a college girl.
like none of this has a bearing directly on the scene work which comes ahead. Like it's not like her flaw that she's a college girl, or like
Hmm.
um she's a spy. Like
Yeah.
you equate that all of those moments as any spy who can get caught, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why that was the main reason I struggled with. Like, I thought, is she
Hmm.
naive? Is she like innocent? Like, none of that. Like,
Yeah.
none of those things come into play as a conflict, like later on.
Yeah, they don't, because they deal with everything in the mentorship part
Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
movie. When she meets her mentor, which we'll get into here in the hero's journey, they essentially train her so smoothly
Yeah.
that every limitation is taken care of.
Care of. Hmm.
So then we focus on the spy work itself.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then it's the fact that it's not her patriotism, but it is the fact that she is actually very loving as a human being, and she's
Hmm.
human,
Hmm.
which comes into later form a limitation for
Hmm.
her. Or if, because she is so patriotic, she's not allowed to put her relationships first.
First. Yeah. Hmm.
So that affects her, but again, it doesn't limit her from doing her work.
Work.
She'll
Hmm.
still kill someone, then
Yeah.
she'll cry about it, which
Yeah.
goes into a character deepening technique, which we'll
Yeah.
talk about later
Later.
again. So, but the core flaw, which would
Huh.
ideally come in her way,
Hmm.
is that she was a college
A
girl, but
simple
they
college girl. Huh.
college girl, yeah, who was
Hmm.
put into this world, a simple
Hmm.
college girl and a simple, like, loving college
Hmm.
girl. But
Hmm.
none of those act as flaws, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. That's why I struggled
So,
for it. Yeah. But yeah,
yeah,
you make sense.
cool. Let's go into the hero's journey
Hmm.
next. Yeah. What is your hero's journey? Your hero's journey is the structural spine of your film. It is the classical monomyth, the journey which every hero, heroine in every story since time immemorial has gone on. It is on these beats and on these turning points of the hero's journey that every single book, movie, musical, fairy tale
Hmm.
is built.
Yeah.
Right? It essentially maps out essential turning points in a character's journey of achieving their goal. So you need to ensure that every so often your characters also have these turning points, because they give your audiences emotional beats, something to look forward to, hits of the fact that they are progressing on their journey.
Hmm.
So sometimes, even if your story is a little weak or your character work is not working as strong as you'd like it to, use your hero's journey as a diagnostic tool to see when you can bring in these turning points and how your character must change, evolve, or grow in order to meet these turning points, right? So let's get into it. First, we have the ordinary world. The ordinary world is the world in which the character exists before they go on the journey of achieving their goal. It is their day to day, it is what normal. We establish their regular life and we establish what their need or flaw is. And we establish the when, where, who, what, and why of their circumstances.
Yeah.
In this film, Alia Bhatt or Sehmat is a college going girl. She's a very soft girl, loving girl who loves her family, who loves her father. And she's had a fairly normal upbringing and existence. We also set up the backdrop of this world that the 1971 war is going on. The Pakistan Civil War, East Pakistan versus West Pakistan, and India is supporting those in East Pakistan, the Mukti Bahini, which are the rebels who want a free Pakistan, East Pakistan, so that can be Bangladesh eventually. So that is the backdrop of the world, which is set in there too. And Pakistan has gotten a sense that India is going to be a thorn in their side. So they want to curtail their actions. And India, of course, wants to take actions against Pakistan in retaliatory fashion. So they are not going to be left behind. This is the essence of the world which is set up. Then we have the call to action. The call to action is where the hero is told that, oh, you can now go and achieve your goal. This is your goal. Come, let's achieve it. We are calling you to achieve it, to go after it. In this case, the call comes from Sehmat's father. Sehmat's father is also a spy, but he is dying of a lung tumor. So he wants to fulfill his duties to the nation. So he says that my young 20-year-old daughter will take my place. And he tells Sehmat that this is what she is going to do. Right?
Yeah.
Then we have the refusal of the call. The refusal of the call is where your hero or someone in the world of the hero says that maybe this is not the best idea to go after this goal. Like, ignore the call, cut it, silence it.
Yeah.
So over here, it is not Sehmat who refuses the call, but it is her own father who has second thoughts. Right? He says that, am I right to be like sending my daughter into the field like this? It's a dangerous proposition. And Sehmat says that much like you and your father serve the country, it is also my duty to do so. And if it is dangerous for me, it is also dangerous for our boys who go out in the army and all of that.
Yeah.
So I am willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
And after she decides to do that, she goes into her mentorship phase, meeting the mentor. The mentor is the person or the people who have been in your shoes, who have gone where you are going to go, and they can equip you with all the tools that you need to be able to survive in this new world. We have a fairly obvious mentorship sequence where Alia is literally being mentored by the intelligence bureau.
Yeah.
And she's taught what she needs to learn in order to cross the threshold and go into her new world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now she goes into her new world. She crosses the threshold, which is the next step in your hero's journey, when she gets married to the son of one of Pakistan's armed forces
Brigadier.
higher ups. Yeah, brigadier's the brigadier, his son, who is the brigadier and Sehmat's father seem to be friends on the surface. So the brigadier thinks that he is on. He's actually a spy for Pakistan in India. Little does he know that his friend is keeping him in the dark and he's sending his daughter to marry his son so that she can actually be a spy right within their home.
Yeah.
And she crosses a threshold as she gets married, and there's a literal threshold crossing scene.
Yeah.
Where she's at the border in Kashmir at India. She gets out of the car and they walk to the other side where there are cars waiting for them to go into Pakistan.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Can I
And
can I pause you? Didn't you feel like I felt the moment up till the call to action was so late in the film? Like there were so many multiple opening images. Like you have the first scene where there are the Navy and they're saying, let's not forget our forgotten heroes. And then you have the Pakistan setup, and then you have Sehmat's father talking to his friend about it, and then Sehmat's father talking to Sehmat's mother about it. Like it's
Yeah.
so much. It felt like they came to the
Yeah.
call to action so delayed.
Hmm. I thought so too,
Yeah,
but I think they did it because they wanted to set up of the gravity of the situation
yeah,
without getting into like a war sequence.
yeah,
So there's a couple of ways to do it, right? Like either you can say that I'm immediately going to open the film with a war, so you
yeah,
understand how dire the situation is.
yeah.
But that's not within the tone of this
Don't
film. This
film.
film
Yeah,
is of tension, not
yeah.
that much action.
Action. Yeah,
So they've
yeah.
it's a very tonal choice.
It's a very tonal choice. I agree. Yeah. I was just getting
Yeah.
restless, so I really wanted to see Alia Bhatt faster in the movie.
Had you seen the film before?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen it in theater. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I hadn't seen it. So I was quite immersed right off the bat. Like I
Huh,
wasn't waiting for Alia.
huh.
So, and I had to forgotten that Vicky Kaushal was in the film also. I had no recollection. So when they do that, when they show you all the photos of the family members in Alia's mentorship sequence, that this is going to be your father-in-law, this is going to
Yeah.
be, and this is going to be your husband, they cut it, right?
Cut it.
Because they want to
Yeah.
like show you Vicky Kaushal in the flesh, not in a
Fletch.
photo. And
Yeah.
I had no idea who it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
forgotten.
Yeah.
So for me, it was actually quite the reveal. So
Yeah. Yeah.
his look for the film and all quite
Yeah.
landed very well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, so that's actually a good screenwriting tip, right? Like we say a lot of things like, "Acha trailer mein to dikh jayega," so we know
Yeah.
how Vicky Kaushal looks and all.
Looks.
But your films have such a long shelf
That's
life
life. Hmm.
that I think you have to consider writing in absolute terms, not
Yeah.
relative to the marketing material and all of
Yeah.
that, the world in which
Yeah.
like you will want to reveal your love interest. You will not
Yeah.
want to show them in a photograph. That is a
Yeah.
core screenwriting tenet.
Yeah.
They need to be given an entry.
Yeah.
So even if they're going to be on the poster with a certain look, your script should give them their individual reveal
Yeah. Yeah.
because it works.
And it plays up ahead in a one sequence also, which I'll talk about much later on. But you're very right. Like they really withhold information which the audience is really wanting right now.
Mm,
So yeah, pretty cool.
yeah, very well done. Yeah. And then we have the tests, allies, and enemies, which is
Hmm,
the next phase of your hero's journey. In your tests, allies, and enemies, your hero gets a lay of the land of the new world in which they're in. What are the tests and challenges they'll face? Who are the allies they'll have in that world? Who are the enemies? So over here, we establish the loving relationship between Alia and Vicky Kaushal. They are a great pair. You understand who is part of the world. We see Abdul, the house help, who is suspicious of Alia right off the bat. Then you have all the various different members of the family. And we also see Alia as a woman in the world and how she
hmm,
uses that side to ally herself with,
hmm,
how she integrates herself with the Army Wives Association
hmm,
and finds herself in a school to infiltrate other houses and stuff like that.
hmm.
We see all her friends and who they are.
Yeah,
And as she does this, we also see her doing her spy
spyness.
stuff. Yeah, so I was going to say spygiri, and then I was like,
Spygiri करने लगा भाई.
Hmm. So, where she essentially starts laying lines across the house, she bugs the
Hmm,
house,
hmm,
she goes, sneaks in
hmm,
checks folders and files
hmm,
in the brigadier's office,
hmm,
all of that. And in doing so, one of the times she learns that they're planning a submarine attack.
hmm,
Hmm. And she wants to send this information back to India because it is
hmm,
pertinent information.
hmm.
And this is when we approach the innermost cave,
Okay. Hmm,
right? In her approach to the innermost cave, she wants to get alone time with the file.
hmm,
So she goes and she steals it.
hmm,
But in stealing it, the brigadier comes back to the house looking for the same file.
hmm,
A whole house goes up in arms looking for it, and she, in the meantime, is relaying the contents of the file back to India through Morse code and the receiver up that she has.
hmm,
And just in the nick of time, she is able to do what she has to do and
hmm,
hand the file over to the brigadier without anyone suspecting her.
hmm,
Approach the innermost cave, the work is done.
hmm,
But then we have the ordeal.
hmm,
So if approaching your innermost cave is trying to steal your bag of gold from under the dragon, then the ordeal is when the dragon wakes up and chases you once you've
Hmm.
stolen the bag of gold.
Hmm.
And I think this analogy applies pretty literally to the scene
Here.
because she has
Yeah.
stolen like the file and, done all
Yeah.
her work.
Yeah.
And then Abdul, who has always suspected her, finds her Morse code transmitter up in the bathroom. And he says, I have always suspected you.
Yeah.
And therein begins the ordeal. We get into our first chase sequence of the film
Hmm.
where Alia chases him down as he takes her Morse code, a component of the Morse code receiver
Yeah.
machine, and he runs to report her.
Hmm.
Alia's forced to pull the trigger, so she finds a car and she chases him and drives over him.
Over him. Yeah.
She kills him, or so she thinks.
Hmm.
Even though she is really shaken and he is left in a gory state, we soon find out that he is not actually dead.
Hmm.
And there begin Alia's fears, her nightmares, what's going to happen. But luckily enough, he passes away.
Hmm.
And that is the reward. The
Hmm.
reward is what you're able to escape with
Yeah.
after you've left the dragon behind your
Hmm.
wake, right? Then you have the way back.
Hmm.
Now you are making your way back home. You have
Hmm.
transmitted important information and now you're trying to figure out how can you extricate yourself from here.
Yeah.
Over here, Alia is left cleaning up the mess of the investigation, which is now going into Abdul's death.
Hmm.
Her husband, Vicky Kaushal, his brother in
No.
the film, Mehboob, is on his tail. He really wants to understand why Abdul was killed. It doesn't make sense to him. And Alia thinks she is going to get caught.
Yeah.
So, following instructions from her counterparts in India, she also murders her brother in law.
Yeah.
Right? And as she's doing this, she also decides to frame Abdul
Good.
for being
A
the
spy.
informant, a spy himself, even though he was not.
Yeah.
In doing so, she gets Vicky Kaushal kind of realizes that Alia is a spy.
Hmm.
And Alia feels like they might know that she is a
Hmm.
spy.
Hmm.
And she remembers a line in her training where they say that if you think you've been compromised, you have been compromised. So
Yeah.
take action accordingly.
Hmm.
And this leads to her counterparts from India deciding to extract her from the situation.
Hmm.
They find themselves in Pakistan. That's Jaideep Palavar's character, Khalid Mir. He comes with his operatives to extract Alia, take her back to India, get her out of danger. But the extraction goes awry, and they decide that we cannot extract her because even the Pakistan agents are now after her because
Hmm.
Vicky Kaushal has reported Alia.
Hmm.
And we can't save her, we can't but also let her
Hmm.
be.
Hmm.
So we have to kill her.
Hmm.
So they hit her in a dart with a poison arrow, and they also drop a grenade.
Hmm.
And Vicky Kaushal and who we think is Alia also die.
Yeah.
And then you have the resurrection, where
Hmm.
your hero rises from the ashes, a new
Hmm.
person. And after having overcome all the setbacks in their path.
Hmm.
And over here, it is almost a literal resurrection because
Hmm.
you think Alia has died, but in
Hmm.
fact, she had survived
Hmm.
because she had thought that someone was on her tail, that the Pakistan agents knew what was going on.
Hmm.
So she had found an alternative route and
Hmm.
they had mistaken someone else to be her and killed
Hmm.
her instead.
Hmm.
Alia's full of sorrow and guilt that she's lost her husband and she's lost this woman, that woman lost her life. But this is the cost of war.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have the return with the elixir, where the character goes back to their old world, but now
Hmm.
they're a new person. They have overcome their limitation.
Hmm.
In Alia's case, she has overcome her limitation, which is of being naive, being a
Hmm.
college girl. She's come out strong on the other side, but she's also a hollow husk of her former self.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
she doesn't like being the person she has become.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is her way in the new world.
And another thing, I think one more thing about the return to the elixir is that India wins that war, which the
Yeah.
reason she had gone to Pakistan as a spy,
Yeah.
her information could help the Indian government to win the war. So I thought that she literally achieved the goal which she was set on.
Yeah.
So I thought
Yeah.
that was very nice.
Yes. Yeah, very
Very
well
clean,
tied
huh? Very
together.
clean,
Yeah,
huh? Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So simple hero's journey works. Classic.
yeah,
Just perfect, right?
yeah, perfect.
Cool. Next thing I thought I should get into is the theme. So over here, the theme, what is the theme of your film?
Hmm,
The theme of the film is what you as an artist believe about the world and want to convey to the world through your art, through your medium of the film, right? Because that's why we all become artists. We really have a strong point of view, and art is our medium of getting it out in a large scale in a manner that a statement never could.
hmm,
Like I can say over here, the statement this film makes is, or they ask a question rather, what is more important, your people or your patriotism?
hmm,
Right? And the film, by the end, answers this question and makes this statement.
hmm,
And so this works much more effectively than in real life if I had to say, no, no, your patriotism is much more important.
hmm,
But if I show you a film where
hmm,
someone is constantly battling between
hmm.
people and patriotism, and ultimately, once you're on the side of this character and they've chosen patriotism, that
Yeah,
statement lands much more viscerally because of the experiential nature of the medium,
yeah.
right?
And I think they answer this question, but they also have a caveat about this answer that
Absolutely.
like she does like the remorse of whatever she did stays with her. The loss which
Yeah.
she had to face continues to be a part of her life. Because there is this one shot of Alia in like a small village later at the end of the film where she has nobody in her life, you know. Uh,
Hmm.
so I thought that was very well explored the theme very well in the sense, but look, you answered the question, but the question is
Hmm.
again not straightforward, you know.
No, no. It is, yeah. So essentially, your theme determines your main
Hmm,
character's arc, right?
hmm,
So if you want to ask the question of what is more important, people or patriotism,
hmm,
and you want to make the point that it's patriotism, you have to have that character learn that throughout the way
hmm,
or constantly earn that.
hmm,
So we start off with Alia being someone who considers patriotism very highly.
hmm,
Sorry, my bad, who considers people very highly.
hmm,
Her opening shot is also of her like rescuing a squirrel.
hmm,
So that shows us how much she cares about life. She doesn't
hmm,
want anyone to die.
hmm,
And then throughout this, she's being forced to kill other people.
hmm,
So she's who are close to her. So
hmm,
her people don't matter to her. And she
hmm,
ends up being someone who says patriotism is more important.
hmm,
But as you said, the film caveats it by saying that it is more important, but the cost of it will be
hmm.
your people.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And they've also not just done this in her character arc, but they've also done this in all her relationships,
Hmm,
right? The reason Alia goes to become a spy is because her dad tells her.
hmm.
So her patriotism is also driven by the people in her life,
Life. Hmm,
right? Then we see it with hers and Vicky Kaushal's relationship,
hmm,
which is beautiful. It is built on, it is a very natural relationship. You feel for them.
hmm,
And even then, when he finds out that she's a spy,
hmm,
she points a gun at him, even though
hmm,
it kills her. But no, my patriotism is more important. I have a
hmm,
job to do here.
hmm,
Even her dad and the brigadier's relationship is
hmm,
one of friendship.
hmm.
And even that friendship is compromised
Right. Hmm,
for the nation.
hmm,
So every relationship talks about this theme over and over again.
even her relationship with her mentor, it
Hmm.
becomes sour because he is
Yeah.
the one, like, he first year comes to rescue her all the way from India
Hmm.
in the guise of a policeman. And then when he knows the bigger mission is compromised, he orders to kill her, which
Yeah.
doesn't sit well with Alia's character again because she's like, you just
Yeah.
ordered to kill me. Like,
Yeah.
what is this job we do, you know?
Exactly.
So yeah, very well noted.
The next thing I want to talk about is the world of
Hmm,
this film.
hmm,
Because obviously, films like these, period dramas, they are built on the world of your film,
yeah,
right? You cannot have a film without it.
yeah.
And when you have such a world, I think it this works at two levels. Okay, so first you have the world of spies, which is in itself very voyeuristic because this is not something you and I have access to. Like, other than by reading a bunch of books and watching a bunch of movies, like we're never probably going to meet a real life spy.
Yeah.
So this movie, in that sense, through the world, gives us a lot of gifts. Now, what is gifts? We talked about this concept in Kahani and in Chakte, where when you're exploring a new world, you also open up the world to your audience and give them information that they enjoy receiving and then can go talk about in their real life. They come out feeling smarter, better, more well-informed human beings, right?
Yeah.
So it's also almost, because we say this absolutely wrong thing, right? That Bollywood films are guilty pleasure films.
Yeah.
So this gift makes you feel like, maybe I didn't waste 3 hours of my time. Now I'm a little more enlightened than I was.
I know how Moscow looks like now.
Exactly. Yeah. Like short press for dot, long press for dash. So, but everything in this, especially the spy training sequence, right? That you have certain boundaries within which you'll work, like do not cross them at any point. Then, of course, you convey everything in Morse code. You're not meant to make any direct contact with us. All of that those little nuggets of information really help you get a sense of what it would be like to be part of like the information bureau, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was very well done. And I think this is also a very good film to show you how to derive conflict from the world. And not just from the world of the spy, but almost the subculture, which is a woman's world over here. Right? Because you're not just a man on the field, or he's not going into dens where, there's like a gunda sitting and, integrating himself there. She has integrated herself into a family.
Yeah.
So over here, they use that word to give you a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
So, for example, when she's in the bathroom and she's setting up the Morse code machine and she forgot to lock the door and Vicky Kaushal almost enters, she takes her top off because she knows it'll throw him off.
Yeah.
And that is using the woman's word because she's a woman. For a dude, this plot point would never work, right?
Like, yeah. Right.
So, over here, the idea is that what is the point of sending a woman married as a spy? Because everyone will underestimate her.
Yeah.
No one's going to think she's the last person anyone will assume is a spy. So how can we use that underestimation as her superpower?
Yeah.
Right? Then when she needs to get to Colonel Beg's house. To spy on the meetings there, she doesn't go through any goofia caves and all underneath. She becomes a singing teacher and decides to tutor his grandson. So again, a very woman's way of doing it.
Yeah.
Right? She gets into the meetings sometimes serving tea. And that's how she does it.
Yeah.
Or when she goes, when Colonel Saab the brigadier has like this call out of panic and frustration, she goes to serve him water. But in serving that water, she's able to glance at the files. And no one's thinking that she's glancing at the files.
And even like when she has to go meet her informants and her allies in the market, she says, I'm going to buy clothes for Abdul's because like whatever, like he's passed away, so it'll be nice to distribute clothes to the poor. So all those come from like her inherent qualities of a good daughter-in-law, essentially.
Yeah. So.
But I also think this was a very tonal choice the filmmaker wanted to take. So can I talk something about the world? Sorry, in the tone. Can I talk about the tone?
Yep.
So I think there is an inherent overall softness to the film, like they don't harp on too many bomb blasts, gun attacks, chase sequences which are brutally shown. They don't have any of the action is never high octane, or it's never edge of the seat action in a very typical way. Like all of the action is driven from emotion, and in the sense that nothing is too fast, nothing is too loud. And even when, like you said, like the meeting has shifted to Beg's house, like what she could have done was like snuck out at night, gone, like, climbed over, somehow found out a flight, whatever, the file.
But
And it,
that's
in a
not the
Mission
film.
Impossible, it would look banging, right?
Yeah,
Because this is what Tom Cruise would do, or like a Salman
yeah,
Khan and Ekta Tiger would do. But that was
yeah,
not the point of the film. Like, I think the filmmakers really wanted to use the softness of of this girl, almost this tiny, dainty girl, to like
yeah,
to like get what she wants. And
yeah,
I thought in a very uh again, very tonal choices. Like, very few things happen at night. Everything happens in the day. Like, even the
hmm,
final bomb blast, which happens between Vicky Kaushal and the girl is killed, it's such in daytime. Or only
yeah,
she kills her brother-in-law in daytime. The only
yeah,
thing happens at night is she kills the first murder, which is the Abdul's murder, is at nighttime. But
hmm,
everything else is in day. And throughout the film, she's only shown soft pastel colors of pink and blue and green and like yellow. Like, I think
yeah,
it was a very tonal choice to keep the film soft, rooted, contained into the world of what you're saying to be a woman as a spy.
yeah,
So I thought that was
absolutely.
really very good choices over here.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah. Let's get into scenes and sequences next.
Hmm,
One thing I really want to talk about, and I think you touched upon it very lightly when we were
hmm,
talking about the hero's journey,
hmm,
is the breaking up of information
hmm,
in this. Because you said in the opening, it's so slow, right? Little bit
hmm,
information, little bit information. But what they've done is use a technique of
hmm,
deciding
hmm,
where the information will have the most
hmm,
emotional impact.
hmm,
And I will demonstrate this with the opening sequence with
hmm,
three scenes.
hmm,
First, you have a scene where Alia's dad is in Pakistan, and we think that he is a Pakistani spy, an
hmm,
Indian spy from who is on the Pakistan side,
hmm,
and he is dying. He has a tumor in his lung, and he speaks to the brigadier, and he says that I am dying, and the
hmm,
brigadier says, I can't do anything as a fellow, patriot for you, but I can do something for you as a friend.
hmm,
You cut the scene there. You
hmm,
don't see the rest of the conversation,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
Then you get into the next scene where you understand that Alia's dad is actually working for India,
hmm,
and he's talking to another man, Jaideep Alawat, from the IB Information Bureau.
hmm,
And they are talking, and he's like, I will send my daughter, Sehmat,
hmm,
to Pakistan to do my spying.
hmm,
Right? So you get a little more information
hmm,
that he's dying, he can't go, so he is going to send his daughter.
hmm,
And then Alia's introduced, or that she comes home, and she's told that, okay, you will be doing the spying on my behalf, but we are going to marry you off
hmm,
to my friend's son, and in their
hmm,
house it is that you will be a spy. So this
hmm,
is the most impactful bit, right? Like,
hmm,
oh wow, that I am going to go as a married woman. I'm not just
hmm.
some spy who's going to be snuck through like the cake tunnels in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So if we had had this conversation up top of
Hmm,
him saying, Acha, I'm dying, so can my daughter like marry your son?
hmm,
Then the impact is not the same. You want to
hmm.
see Alia's reaction to this information because
Yeah.
she's the one who's impacted the most.
Most. Hmm,
So this is distributing this information in the way that is most impactful.
hmm,
And they've done this again,
hmm,
where Alia has bugged the brigadier's office. And
hmm,
then as she's listening in into those
hmm,
bugs, she hears something and we hear her say, oh no.
uh,
And it's not clear.
hmm,
And then we cut to her relaying that information to Jaideep
hmm,
Palawat's character.
hmm,
And then he says that, okay, she has bugged this place, but now
hmm,
they're shifting the meetings to Colonel Beg's house.
hmm.
So it's one step forward, two steps back.
Back. Hmm.
So this information is again not given like Alia hears it, then she relays it. No,
Yeah.
it's just a look, and then the information is given at the person who it's affecting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So splitting up the information, when to you give half information, but
Yeah.
eventually it has to be completed. The
Yeah.
point of completion has to be one where it is most emotionally pertinent.
Hmm. Very, very well noted about. I think this film does it multiple times.
Yeah.
And I think another time they did this was when Vicky Kaushal's character Iqbal comes to know about Alia, that his wife is a spy. Like,
Hmm.
again, that scene is choreographed where half information is given, half is going to be given now. Again, more is given, more is withheld. And
Yeah.
I'll just recap the whole choreography of how the sequence was done.
Yeah.
So I thought this was beautiful. I thought this was the most amazing sequence for me in the film,
Hmm.
which was that uh, Iqbal, Vicky Kaushal's character, has come to know that uh, his house is being now surveyed, like surveillance has been done in his house to like see if there is any material or like any sort of evidence, and they come across all the Morse code paraphernalia in Abdul's attic.
Hmm.
So now, what you said, the impact on Vicky is so much more because it was his loyal servant who he now comes to know was a spy for India, you
Hmm.
know? So check there. Like, that's great. Now, but while that's going on, he notices something on the floor. Now, we again don't know what it is that, but we just now in this moment realize that he's come to know something. And
Hmm.
now we cut to the washroom where we see him break down. He's crying his heart out. So we sort of understand it's obviously about Sehmat, right? Like, because
Hmm.
nothing else will affect him so much more.
Hmm.
But we still don't know what he has found out. Now we cut back to outside. Sehmat has come back home. She sees his wallet. She sees a photograph in the wallet. And on the wallet, she sees a bead of her anklet. Now she remembers that when she was planting this evidence in Abdul's room, her anklet accidentally broke because she fell from the stool, and this bead like sort of like got separated. And now we see that as a flashback. So now we have the full information revealed
Yeah.
how she got caught. Again, scene doesn't end there. You cut back inside. Iqbal is finally washing his face off, washing his face. He's composing himself. He comes out, and now Semat has a gun directly at him. So
Hmm.
now, again, this could have been a very what you said, direct scene. Like, first he
Hmm.
finds out, he tells her, she denies, she brings out a gun.
Hmm.
It's so long and so unnecessary. But now this is direct. So,
Yeah.
and again, it only was possible because with each cut, they're giving more and more information.
Hmm.
So I thought this sequence was done very interesting, and they use multiple techniques to get this sequence also right. That firstly, it is intrigue, right, withholding
Hmm.
information. And second, emotion drives the scenes more than all the other technical stuff. Like the focus is not more on what did he find, but the focus is more on his heartbreak, his emotion, her shock that her husband found out that she's a spy,
Yeah.
and the final moment when she has the rifle, like the gun on him, again, like the
Hmm.
emotion is heavy more than, oh, like she's pointing a gun at him.
Yeah.
So that works. And this a lot of this film employs this technique, which is of intercutting, which is
Hmm.
she is one character is in some situation trying to achieve something, trying to hide something, trying to retrieve something. At the same time, another character is around the same place at the same time. So rather than, what could have happened is that you show one character's side so completely, and then later on the other character comes to know. They've just combined those timelines and intercut between the two portions to create firstly tension
Hmm.
and what and economy of time, because
Yeah.
it why would you have two scenes when it can just have in one sequence? I think
Yeah.
this is a beauty of screenwriting, which like has been employed here. uh
Yes.
so yeah.
Definitely, for sure. And speaking of intercutting, I want to talk about like one scene and then
Hmm,
get into a sequence,
hmm,
which is when the first time Alia has the keys to the brigadier's
hmm,
office
hmm,
and she wants to bug it.
hmm,
Right? So she goes in there, she gets the key, she goes in there and she starts bugging it, doing her thing. And in the meantime, we cut to Abdul.
hmm,
And Abdul over there has figured that something is off and
hmm,
he's coming towards Alia.
hmm,
Now, this employs two techniques. A, this is intercutting between Alia doing one thing, Abdul coming on her tail. And the
hmm,
second is Alia doesn't know that Abdul is on her tail,
hmm,
but the audience knows.
hmm,
So, this is Hitchcock's bomb under the table. which is giving the audience information the character doesn't have. So this makes, because the audience doesn't have that, because the character doesn't have that stress, the audience is stressed on behalf of the character.
Yeah.
That, oh my God, can you do this fast? Can you do this fast? So that creates even more tension, right? Of going into this locked room. And then finally it comes to a head where Alia drops something, but she hides, she notices a shadow, and everything passes, right? Now this leads into another technique, which is where, see, this is a spy film, right? And a spy film can have so many cool things because there's one tech ploy here, one ploy here. You can really use the world. But as you said, the world is contained for its softness. That's the reason. So Alia also in this car doesn't keep finding new things to do. It is one thing that she's doing over and over again. And over here, it is getting access to private offices all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So over here, what do? The same thing will constantly get boring. You can't show the same intercutting, same acha giving the audience information, blah, blah, blah. So they keep upping it. So this is the first scene that you have. Then you have one where she's at Colonel Begg's house and she is looking for a file there. Now there you don't have intercutting. There they've used surprise. Where the door opens and someone's there and she just comes out in the nick of time. She's heard a sound. So the audience gets the information at the same time as the character. But it's dealt with very quickly. There it's not about tension. It's about jeopardy. It's how quickly can you make that happen, change happen. And then you have the final time, which is when this one, she's planting the evidence in, she's going to gather, in his room, in Abdul's room. And even there, that time, you have the same what's going to happen. But that tension now doesn't come from the fact that someone's actually spying on her. It's because it has already happened twice. That tension is already in your audience's mind, that there is always someone on the tail there.
Going to look for her.
You.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's also, I guess, the rule of 3. So another technique used there. So they've escalated a single ploy 3 times, making it even more intense and dangerous until they've not had to plant any obvious danger, but the danger is already in your audience's mind. Next, there was one small callback that I really liked and I want to talk about, which is when Alia is being mentored when in her training sequence. And she's been taught like combat and defense. And as the combat and defense sequence is done, she gets taken down. And even as she gets taken down, Jaideep Palawar tells her, always smile. Like on a new bahu's face, नए बहू के चेहरे पे मतलब हमेशा रौनक होनी चाहिए. There should always be a smile, muskan honi chahiye. And then within that same sequence, as she gets better at her training, in one combat sequence, she takes the person down and she smiles.
Yeah.
And it is such a small moment. It's not a verbal callback.
Yeah.
But it is a callback to show that, okay, now she has progressed.
Yeah.
And that this relationship, as you would say, has changed. And earlier she was not smiling, and now in the same situation, she is smiling.
Yeah. I didn't notice that. Yeah, but nice. Yeah.
Okay. This has to be written into the script. I mean,
for sure. Yeah. This is a heavily written film. Like the direction is fully like on paper. Yeah.
One more technique I wanted to talk about was a moving goalpost. So we talked about this earlier, but I wanted to put it in the confines of this technique to help understand it, which is where Alia bugs Colonel Begg's, Brigadier's office. And it's a tense sequence, right? Because Abdul is going to be there. Like, itna mehnat karke, she bugs it, right? And then she listens in and, arey, now bugging ka koi fayda nahi because they're going to another, move now to another location to do these meetings.
Yeah.
But one problem you face with a moving goalpost is that the actions can be completely rendered futile. Which means that your audience, you risk putting the same thing over again. Like bugging here, then Colonel Begg could have been another bugging sequence. So when you have a moving goalpost, your script often runs into this problem of, she's going to solve it the same way eventually.
Yeah.
But over here, they've kept the moving goalpost, but the trick is to solve it differently. And to reward the earlier goal, which was achieved, however, temporarily.
Hmm.
So that reward A is achieved by, because she has bugged it, can
Hmm.
she have received the information that acha, these bugs are useless because she's
Hmm.
listening in.
Hmm.
So that is how she gets it. So that is the reward of
Hmm.
achieving the goal. But
Yeah.
then it is only conflict that moves the story forward. And
Forward.
instead of a new conflict, it's the same conflict that now she has
Yeah.
to bug another place.
Yeah.
But instead of bugging it, again, she uses another technique, which is of integrating herself as a singing teacher and going to
Hmm.
Colonel Begg's house and
Hmm.
finding the information out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can have a moving goalpost, but these are the constraints within which you can have
Hmm.
one.
Hmm. 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 Yeah. A good choice. What they've made, I feel like they did a training sequence with Jaideep Palawat's character and Sehmat. Okay. Now there's only so much you can tell in that sequence, right? Like there are 100 list of things she's been told, but
Hmm.
obviously in that 5-10 minute sequence, how much can you overload the audience, right? Like it's anyway overwhelming for your character. You can't make it
Yeah.
overwhelming for the audience also. They'll forget everything.
Hmm.
So what they do is you've established her mentor character, its distinct voice, the way he speaks, everything. Now, at pertinent times in the film, when she's
Hmm.
entered the new world and she's facing the situations which he must have taught her, his voice comes as a voiceover. And
Yeah.
that tells the rule which we didn't hear earlier, but now it's coming into play. So now,
Yeah.
for example, the first day she tries to cook breakfast for the family and it doesn't go her way. That's when you hear his voice for the first time. It says कि दिल जीतने की जल्द मत करना. It doesn't work. And
Hmm.
this if you would have told earlier, the audience would have had a little bit of a hard time recollecting it. Number one, it's like
Yeah.
they would have to do mental two and two, which is always a little unpleasant for if you're not
Hmm.
decoding a mystery. Like
Yeah.
if it works as a mystery, then it's fine. The audiences love that.
Hmm.
But this was not a
Yeah.
mystery. This was just a payoff of something she must have learned earlier in her life. And it comes
Yeah.
again at multiple times it's done. Like, when she's noting everybody coming in and out of the house, then his voice comes again. Sabke aane jaane ka time rakhna. Uh,
Hmm.
these were the moments of training which she would have gotten, but the audience doesn't need to know at that time because,
No.
again,
Yeah.
it's information overload. Uh,
Exactly. Yeah. And there's no supporting visual either. So
yeah,
when you say that don't try to like win hearts too early, like what does that even
yeah,
mean? You know?
mean, huh,
But like
exactly.
combat and all is visually you can see it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
but then once she makes parathas and it goes unappreciated, then
yeah,
you understand that acha, don't try to win over people too soon. That's what
yeah.
it means.
And again, it brings me back to your point, like, information when it has the maximum impact, right? So
Exactly.
now we see her disappointment with this that she's not appreciated. Oh, now she recollects this point,
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
uh, I thought that was a very interesting choice again. Um, then I wanted to make a small um, Chekhov's gun moment. A Chekhov gun is a moment in the film where you see a gun on the wall of our character, and somewhere later, one of the characters in the film is gonna pick up that gun and like use it in there. So now, in this moment, uh, I thought her anklet, her pile, was a great Chekhov's gun. Like it's used on the earlier scene as something a bonding moment between Iqbal and Sehmat. Like he gets her new pile and like he makes her
Hmm.
wear it and like it becomes like the first time like they sort of have consummate their marriage. And ultimately that only becomes the way he finds out that she is a spy for living in his house. So I thought that
Hmm.
was a great uh Chekhov's gun only, right? This would be.
Chekhov's gun, yeah. Set
Yeah.
up and payoff.
Set up
Yeah.
and pay off.
One of those.
One
Call
of
back.
the
I
yeah.
don't know.
I,
Anyway.
no, you figure it
Essentially,
out.
you give information in advance so that when you have to use it, it doesn't seem convenient.
Yeah.
Because if otherwise it would have been any anklet, it would have been like, how does Vicky Kaushal like know wo itne uske kitne sare
So,
payal hai?
yeah,
But over
exactly.
here, he knows this because he has given it to her.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's get into character creation next. Um, I primarily have notes on Alia's character,
Okay.
which dive into. So I
Hmm,
want to talk about before Alia's character is seen.
hmm,
Right? We hear her dad say, जो मैं मुकम्मल नहीं कर पाया वो सहमत कर लेगी.
Hmm.
And you've heard him talk to Jaideep Palawan and say, but she's a 20-year-old girl. How is
Hmm.
she going to like be a
Hmm.
spy? And then her dad says, what I couldn't do, my daughter will do. And over here, they're using two techniques simultaneously.
Hmm.
A is building the mythology of the girl, that she's a
Hmm.
20-year-old girl, like, but she'll be able to do jo matlab main nahi kar paya.
Hmm.
That's the mythology. And B, we are hearing her dad talk about her, saying
Hmm.
that she is capable. She will be
Hmm.
able to do this.
Hmm.
So if he says something strong about her, something
Hmm.
nice about her, we as
Hmm.
an audience are inclined to believe what another character says.
Hmm.
Because khud ki, matlab, they're not praising themselves, they're praising someone else, and we
Hmm.
believe what others have to say.
Hmm.
We trust their word. So two techniques used as one. And then we immediately see Alia's introduction, where
Hmm.
she goes and she saves a squirrel,
Hmm.
right? So you already have the information that she is supposed to be a spy.
Yeah.
And then you see such a softie.
Yeah.
So this shows us the arc Alia has to go on throughout the
Hmm.
film.
Yeah.
And it's also because you foreshadowed her arc, it
Hmm.
creates curiosity. Ki
Hmm.
abhi, how is someone so soft going to become someone so hard?
Yeah.
So this is another technique of creating curiosity by showing a gap in the information.
Hmm.
So an information gap helps create a character and helps
Yeah.
foreshadow who they're going to become.
Yeah.
And finally, I want to talk about character deepening.
Hmm. No,
In
but
Alia's case,
because then in the introduction scene, I want to add a little bit
hmm,
more. So that
yeah,
because I remember this happening when I first saw it. I'd gone with my cousin,
hmm,
okay? And the next scene which happens after this is when a piece of glass gets like stuck in her foot, and
yeah,
she winces.
yeah,
And she immediately
yeah,
says, मुझे तो खून देख के ही चक्कर आ रहा है. And my
uh,
cousin immediately went, और ये spy बनने चली. I remember this. So, and
exactly.
like at that time, like I didn't think it so much, but now when I noted this point that it like really that contrast is that
Mm,
really makes you want to be very curious that how will she do this? Like how is this girl gonna
yeah,
do it? So yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, very well done.
yeah.
And then they've also deepened her character, which is
Hmm,
also thematically correct, where because she's a soft person,
hmm,
she's living now with her in-laws, with her
hmm,
families, but she's having to kill her own in-laws. Like
hmm,
first she kills the house help, then she has to
hmm,
kill her brother-in-law,
hmm,
right? And you would think she's a spy, she's hardened now, there is no
hmm,
remorse.
hmm,
But they have shown depth, where
hmm,
after she kills, she gets like a fit. She
hmm,
needs to like collect herself again. She's
hmm,
panicking. What have I just done? She's
yeah,
feeling really bad. She's feeling bad for her sister-in-law. So
hmm,
this shows us that the character is more, there is more to the character than what meets the eye. So
hmm,
even as they are developing, there is more to them. And this
hmm,
is really important in creating a character that is more lifelike and multifaceted, because
yeah,
us humans ideally should have many
yeah,
facets, many don't. But yeah. So this is how you can make your characters more
yeah,
lifelike by
yeah,
giving them layers.
hmm, yeah. And again, like the movie fully works on emotion, right? So
Hmm.
it really lands that when she does cry, she feels horrible for killing this person.
Yeah.
Like you really feel bad for her, not for the person who died.
Yeah, died. Yeah,
Yeah,
actually. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
When we're talking about characters, I also want to talk about Vicky Kaushal's character, Iqbal. Now,
Hmm.
the technique I want to talk about is subverting the expectation. So, like you would expect in a situation like this, sure, the fathers are friends. They would want to, like, uh, get married at a nice place. That's the surface thing. But deep down, you also know that the father has a mission, right? Like to accomplish. So he wouldn't care, however, is the guy, she has to get married to him. And now
Hmm.
you as an audience member will expect that, oh my God, what kind of this guy will be? Like, what if he's rash with her? What if he like gets physical with her? But you subvert that expectation by being the complete opposite. Like
Hmm.
Iqbal's character has been written completely different than any of our expectations. Like In fact, the first time he touches her accidentally, her shoulder, he immediately apologizes. Sorry.
Hmm.
He said, "No, wait, I'm gonna get the door for you." Uh,
Yeah.
and he decides to, even like when she's waiting on the bed for the first night, the expectation is that, okay, now he will want to have sex with me, right? Like that's what it's assumed. But what he does is goes
Yeah.
and sleeps on the sofa,
Hmm.
and he's like, "I'll also need time.
Hmm.
You'll also need time." Uh, and he tries to shut the door, and it's her actually who says that, keep it slightly open. So
Hmm.
it really empathizes, like it creates a lot of empathy for him.
Hmm.
And we already love this guy. Like we feel bad for like this, what doom this
Yeah.
relationship will have to face, because they're
Yeah.
inherently both nice people and we can
Exactly.
foreshadow that they're gonna fall in love, right? Because
Yeah.
they're genuinely like good people. So, but what this technique of subverting the expectation did is that it created such a beautiful character. So I
Hmm.
think here it's good to remember that whenever you're struggling to create a very obvious character, like think what other facets of human emotion that character can bring out, right?
Hmm.
Like we had never seen this husband being so caring, and like especially a husband who you've never spoken to, you know?
Hmm.
And like it's almost an alliance marriage of sorts, right? Like
Yeah.
so so I thought that was very smartly, very heartfully done.
Very heartfully done. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, speaking of that, this whole film is subversion, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And if like this is obviously an adaptation of a book, but
yeah.
otherwise also, I think generally subversion is a very good rule of thumb when you're
Hmm,
developing something,
hmm,
right? So imagine if there weren't a book here
hmm,
and you say, okay, I want to write a spy thriller set in
hmm,
1971 where India was super like nosy and wanted to interfere in like the Pakistan war, and I want to talk about like a spy. Your
hmm.
first instinct is going to be dude, right? Spy
Yeah,
matlab man, right?
yeah,
So then as a writer, it's
yeah.
okay. You can have a bad idea. That is your first idea. It has to come. How do you clear out the pipes? The
Hmm,
next question you ask is okay, how can I subvert this?
hmm,
What is the obvious subversion here? Okay, make it a
hmm,
woman. Okay.
hmm,
But then how can I subvert this even more?
hmm,
Like, okay, let's make this a married woman.
hmm,
Like, this makes it even more difficult.
hmm.
Okay, how can I subvert this even more? Oh, her husband is really nice. So she falls in love.
Love. Yeah,
And this subversion not only gives you a unique story, but it
yeah,
helps you develop the world
yeah,
and tells you these are different plot lines. Because the moment you think, okay, she's a woman who's married, now you're in the house. You
yeah,
have developed the world. Okay, now she has a husband who she actually loves. Okay, so
yeah,
you have another subplot going on there.
yeah.
So just by using subversion over and over, you don't just create great characters, you create just great storytelling in general. Mm.
And one more small character note I wanted to talk about. This is almost like a genre trope of sorts, which is the loyal servant in the house. You know, uh, It's I tried to Google what the literal trope's name is, and I found out it was Battle Butler.
Oh, Battle Butler.
Battle
Okay, yeah. It's
Butler.
like the dog, right? Like the dog
Yeah,
who has to die.
yeah, yeah. Which is that he doesn't have anything to do with the big mission. He's neither in the army, but he is somebody who suspects your main protagonist right from the get-go. Why?
Mm,
We don't know. Something about his experience, something about just the way he reads people. We just know from the first look that this person is going to be threat to
mm,
Sehmat. So this is Abdul, and and the all the moments until the moment she kills him, there is tension between the two of them. She
hmm,
tries to cook breakfast, he doesn't like it, so like she comes on the back foot. She is trying to plant a bug in um, brigadier's office. He is the one on her tail, so there is
yeah.
a constant cat and mouse situation between the two of them. And it's and if you've seen enough of these films, you'll know this is the person she will kill the first, you know. so I think it's a good genre trope, that
Yeah.
of this battle butler in
Butler. I
Abdul.
really like that. But it's interesting that you said that, that this is the person she'll kill first.
Yeah.
because my screenwriter brain was also on, right?
Off.
Like while watching
Okay.
the
On.
film.
Yeah.
So initially,
Yeah.
it was off by the end of it,
Yeah.
but initially it was on. So I went 2 steps ahead. I thought they're going to pull like a Nawaz and Kahani or something where
Oh.
he's the asshole. He's
Yeah.
always keeping an eye on her. But later on, we reveal that he's actually from
Yeah.
like the
It's either of the
Indian
two. It's
IB.
either of the two.
Yeah,
It's either
the two.
this or it's the complete as this
Yeah,
one, you know? Uh,
yeah. But then it wouldn't have made sense to have two spies in the same
two
house. So
spies.
obviously they didn't
Even
do
Jaideep
that.
Alawat
Yeah.
comes as an undercover. Like I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, every like this she has so many allies by the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is all I have on Raazi.
Same, that is me too. So, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Breakdown Besties podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Go watch this phenomenal film again now and note all these techniques. And if you note another technique which we haven't noted, or you think something is a technique but is because you've recognized the pattern across the several movies that you've seen, but we haven't noted it, please let us know down in the comments.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. So, like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next Thursday on another episode of the Breakdown Besties podcast. Bye.
Bye. Hi again, bestie. This one we broke down a film. One of the co-writers was Bhavani Iyer. And next week we're doing another Bhavani Iyer film. We're breaking down the film Black. So see you next Thursday. Bye.